Good evening. We're here today to have an instructional video on shoulder extension for flexibility. And right now, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your participant, here we have Drew, is laying down prone, and Shane will be taking the measurements. And Drew will be extending her arm as far as she can. And make sure to place the goniometer at the acromion process. So Drew, go ahead.
Looks to be approximately 52 degrees in flexion.
All right, and we'll do the same thing for the other side now.
And we did measure the other side, it was approximately 53 degrees of extension.
And this conducts the shoulder extension, and now we're going to move on to the shoulder flexion. We're back again with the flexibility test, and now we're going to be doing the shoulder flexion. This is the same process as the shoulder extension, except your participant will be laying supine, which is facing up as Drew is doing. And now Drew will flex her arm as far as she can, and Shane will take the measurement.
Approximately 79 degrees. 100 looks to be 179 degrees of flexion.
Okay, and the same process is repeated for the other side. Make sure to place the goniometer at the acromion process.
Go ahead, Drew. Flex your arm.
And again, as far as they can.
And it is about the same, approximately 179 degrees of flexion.
All right, and this conducts our shoulder flexion flexibility test. All right, and we're gonna move on to the shoulder abduction now. Again, your participant is laying supine, but now the goniometer is placed on the anterior axis of the acromion process, which Shane has done already. And for this exercise, Drew is going to abduct her arm as far as she can, and Shane will take the measurement. So go ahead, Drew.
Very well. The measurement seems to be approximately 180 degrees of abduction.
All right, and the same process is conducted on the other side. All right, Drew, go ahead and abduct the right arm.
Very well. The measurement seems to be approximately 179 degrees of abduction.
Okay, and this conducts the shoulder abduction flexibility test. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the shoulder medial lateral rotation. And for this exercise, your participant is again laying supine, but now the goniometer is placed on the olecranon process, like Shane has done already. And for this movement, you have to make sure that your participant, the distal end of the humerus and scapula, are stationary. And now Drew is going to medially and laterally rotate her arm as far as she can go.
Very well. Her medial rotation without moving her scapula, medial rotation of her shoulder is approximately 70 degrees.
All right, and the same steps and process will be repeated on the other side. Again, making sure that the shoulder and arm is perpendicular to the floor. And again,
Very well, Drew. Go ahead and conduct the movement.
as far as she can go.
Very well. So lateral rotation of the shoulder is approximately 70 degrees.
Okay, and this conducts the flexibility test for the shoulder medial lateral rotation. All right, and now we're going to do the same exercise, but now towards the back, which is the lateral rotation. So Drew, go ahead and conduct the movement as far as you can towards the back.
Very well. The measurement for Drew's lateral rotation seems to be approximately 90 degrees.
Okay, and the same step is connected to the other side.
We did it on the other side, it was 90 degrees as well.
And this conducts the lateral rotation shoulder flexibility test. Alright, we're back again with the flexibility test, and now we're going to do the flexibility test for the wrist. We're going to be doing flexion and extension. First, we're going to do flexion, and make sure that your participant is sitting down with her arm 90 degree perpendicular to the table. And make sure that the goniometer is placed on the lateral aspect of the wrist over the trochanter. And now, Drew is going to flex her wrist as far as she can, and Shane will take the measurement.
Very well. Looks to be approximately 79 degrees of flexion.
Alright, and from here, Drew is going to do the extension upwards, and Shane will take the measurement.
The measurement seems to be approximately 75 degrees of flexion. Extension, I'm sorry.
Alright, and the same process is conducted
And we did it with
on
the other side. The measurements were approximately the same.
Okay, and this conducts the flexibility test for the wrist flexion and extension. We're back again with the flexibility test, and now we're going to be conducting the knee flexion test. For this test, your participant is laying supine. The goniometer is placed over the lateral epicondyle of the femur. And for this test, the knee flexes as well as the hip also flexes. So Drew, go ahead and flex your knee, and Shane will take the measurement.
Initially, as the leg comes up and comes into flexion.
Flexion at the knee joint seems to be approximately 142 degrees.
Okay, and the same test is conducted on the other side.
And I also conducted the test on the other side, and it was approximately 143 degrees of knee flexion.
Okay, and this conducts the knee flexion flexibility test. Alright, welcome back to the flexibility test, and now we're going to be conducting the hip extension flexibility test. For this exercise, your participant is laying prone. The goniometer is placed on the lateral aspect of the hip joint. You can use the trochanter, the greater trochanter, as a reference. And for this movement, your participant can flex their knee just to help with the hip extension. So go ahead, Drew, as far as you can.
Very well. Her angle of measurement seems to be approximately 32 degrees in hip extension.
Okay, and the same process is conducted on the other side.
And I did the measurement on the other side before this, and it was about 33 degrees in hip extension.
Okay, and this conducts the hip extension flexibility test. All right, welcome back. And now we're going to do the hip flexion flexibility test. Now, the only difference between the hip extension and the hip flexion is that for the flexion, your participant is laying supine, and they're going to be raising their leg as far as they can upwards. And again, the goniometer is placed on the lateral aspect of the hip joint. You can use the greater trochanter as a reference. And now Drew can flex her hip as far as she can, and Shane will take a measurement.
The goniometer says she is approximately 100 degrees in hip flexion.
Alright, and the same process is repeated on the other side.
And before we started filming, I did measure the other side, and it was exactly the same, 100 degrees in hip flexion.
Okay, and this conducts the hip flexion flexibility test. Welcome back, and this is our final flexibility test, which is the ankle dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. And first, we're going to be doing dorsiflexion. Make sure that you place the goniometer over the lateral aspect of the lateral malleolus, as Shane is doing already, and make sure that your client is sitting with their knee flexed at 90 degrees, so they are able to flex and dorsiflex and plantar flex their foot. Okay, so Drew, you can dorsiflex as much as you can.
So what was it that time?
Very well. The measurement on the goniometer is approximately 20 degrees of dorsiflexion.
And from here, we're going to go to plantar flexion,
How the heck did you do it?
as far as you can go.
And I have the goniometer reading approximately 40 degrees of plantar flexion.
Okay, and the same process is conducted on the other side.
And the measurements on the other side were exactly the same.
And this conducts the flexibility test for ankle dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. And thank you for watching.
Good job.
All right, welcome. And now we're going to be conducting the back scratch test. And for this, your participant is standing straight. And your participant is going to reach over her shoulder and down the back with one arm, and the other arm is going to reach up. And Shane will be measuring if the fingers overlap, the overlap measurement, and if not, the space in between the fingers. So go ahead, Drew.
Very well. Drew seemed to be nicely flexible at about 1.5 inches of overlap.
Okay,
Scratch test.
and the same test is conducted now with the other arms just switched. One arm usually tends to be different.
Drew is less flexible on this side as per the norm, and she is approximately 5 inches of not touching.
Okay, and
Approximately 5 inches.
this conducts the back scratch test. Okay, and welcome back. And now we're going to be doing the modified trunk flexion. And for this, we're going to be using the participant, and we have the box here to measure how far he or she can flex. And make sure that your participant places one hand over the other. And as they flex down, to get as far as they can, make sure that they exhale. All right, Drew, go ahead. Hold it for 2 seconds and release.
Very well. She seems to be this measures in both centimeters and inches, and we're going to take this measurement in centimeters, and she is approximately 38 centimeters in reach.
And we conduct the same test again just to get an average. All right, go ahead, Drew. 2 seconds and release.
Again, the same measurement, approximately 38 centimeters.
Okay, and this conducts the modified trunk flexion test. All right, welcome back. And for our final test, we're going to be doing the trunk extension. And for this test, your participant is laying prone, and they're going to place their hands behind their head. And for this measurement, you're going to measure the distance from the floor to the participant's chin, and they're going to just flex as far as they can. So Drew, go ahead and extend.
Very well. Drew seems to be approximately 10 degrees of trunk extension.
Okay, and this conducts the trunk extension test.
Here are your numbers, and we went over what the measurements were earlier. Everything you measured within range on everything, or even a little better. The only thing that you might want to think about improving flexibility on was the back scratch test. You came up just a ½ inch short, but other than that, everything checked out just fine. You're a healthy young woman.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we are going to be assessing flexibility. Flexibility is a range of motion about a joint or a series of joints. Branching off of that, we have static flexibility, which is going to be the total range of motion at the joint. We have dynamic flexibility, which is the measurement of torque or resistance developed during the stretch through that range of motion. So flexibility basically implies someone's freedom to move the body through a wide range of movements. We measure flexibility because it is one of the 5 components of fitness. It is going to give us a baseline of where a person is at before we start a flexibility intervention. And lastly, it is important to it helps us maintain functional independence and helps us get through our activities of daily living very smoothly. So today we're going to be going through a couple of demonstrations for flexibility testing.